Hometown Radio, 1580 KGAF presents the Community Service Report. Here is Dee Blanton.
Thanks very much. Hi, everybody. Time for another community service program here on KGAF. It is GISD Day, as the first Friday of each month is. Very happy to welcome Dr. Jeff Brasher, the superintendent of the Gainesville ISD. Hi, Jeff.
Good morning, Dee.
It's good to see you as always. Let's just start off in general and tell us kind of how things are going and what's going on and coming up in the GISD.
Well, we come back from Christmas, and again, we have gotten off to a great start. You know, one of the first things that we look at is the quality of instruction going in the classrooms, and you know, we feel that our principals and our teachers are working extremely hard and give their very best each and every day to provide the very best education for our kids. So we're excited about that. Of course, we've got a lot of construction going on across the district, and so they're making progress over at Lee Intermediate, the new band hall, and at the high school in the multi-purpose facility. I mean, they are turning some dirt, and so this group are doing a fantastic job of moving forward with that project.
One thing I want to talk about before, and we've got a special guest with us today, and we're going to get to her in just a second, but one thing I want to talk about and get back to, because I want to spend just a little time with this A through F rating system thing. Folks are probably tired of hearing about it by now, but they shouldn't be, because this is something that I know our school district and most school districts feel is an unfair thing to our students and to our districts and to our school campuses as far as the way they're rated. You guys have passed, I guess, a resolution against it. Most school districts have. Are you getting any indication out of Austin that it will change, or what feelings are you getting?
Well, the feelings we're getting that it's not going to change. I think there'll be some modifications to address some of the concerns that many of our schools and parents across the state have regarding the A through F system. But, you know, it doesn't change the fact that we're still going to work hard to provide that first-class education for our kids every single day. But I think we all want it to be a fair assessment of what truly indicates a great school and not. And that should not be determined by the percentage of economically disadvantaged students you have within your school. And really, our laws and our funding should be able to help support and develop those individuals, because that population across the state continues to grow, and they are such a viable, important part of the success of our economy and of our country. And so, you know, really our goal and our focus should be developing those individuals and providing the resources, providing the support, and everybody moving in that same direction. And you know, it seems like we're so divided in so many different ways, but only our future and everything rests on the education of our kids. So we don't need to be setting them up or our communities for failure.
Yeah, and certainly it looks like that's what this system may end up doing. And you talk about economically disadvantaged. You know, our population there is quite large too, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We got some campuses up to 90-91%.
Yeah.
You know, overall as a district, you look at the tape report, it shows that 80%. But, you know, I think that number is actually higher than that if you go through the process of how that number is determined.
All right, you have brought a guest with you today, a new member of the staff of the GISD, and I'll let you introduce her.
Well, you know, the key to our success is, you know, I think the one thing that all great schools have in common are great people, great teachers, and great leaders. And so, you know, it's always our top priority to recruit and bring in the very best people that we can find in this into GISD that could have the most profound and most significant impact on our student success. And so I'm very encouraged and very excited that we recently hired a new assistant superintendent of curriculum instruction, Veronica Trujillo Kunschik, and she actually began this week, and we are so excited and so pleased to have her. So I want to take this opportunity to introduce her to the community, and so sitting here on the right-hand side of me is Ms. Kunschik. So
welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you for having me here today, and Dr. Brasher also for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here to speak to the community and to share my enthusiasm about being a part of this outstanding educational team at Gainesville ISD.
Well, it's great to have you, as I told you earlier, and just so you know, I'm a first name type of guy, so to me, you're going to be Veronica, if that's okay.
Very good.
All right. He's Jeff, you know, she's Leslie, you know,
Yes.
it's kind of how we do things around here. Give us a little bit of information about your background, where you come from, and what's in your past as far as education.
Very good. What I'll share is that basically I have served as an administrator. I started in higher ed for 7 years at University of Oklahoma and then at Oral Roberts University also. I worked in the area of athletics and recruitment of student athletes with NCAA and traveled across the country. Then I went on to pre-K to 4 as an administrator, then took a 6 through 8 campus, a 7-8, went to a 5-6, then I transferred over to a 9th grade building, and then I merged the 9 to the 10-12 and took a complete high school for 3 years.
So you've got pretty vast experience. That is a wide range.
It is, yes.
And that is impressive. What drew you to this position in Gainesville? What made you want to take this step?
Well, I do believe that students have needs wherever you go, and so being that education is my passion, I look for opportunities where I am needed to help the academic success of students. But I'll take it back to athletics. You know, student recruitment of student athletes, they say the main reason a student chooses a university is because of the leader, and I will give it back to Dr. Brasher. He did an outstanding job in drawing me into the community and in his questioning, and it led me to know where his heart is as a leader, and he truly is all about the students in this community and their success, and that is what brought me to Gainesville ISD.
Now, I know that you've only been on the job a couple of days here, but what are your first impressions? My
first impressions are that we have work to do. We have a strong foundation. However, it really has to do with the previous conversation because we are transitioning with the state. We have to be thinking ahead along with what we're doing this academic year because we will fall in the same academic assessments that we did last year in terms of how we're going to be held to accountability for this year. However, we will transition to A through F, and so we're thinking ahead and forecasting to the future also. And in that comes leading teachers and leading administrators at the campus level also.
Now, I take it, and I haven't read into it a lot, but I take it that the A through F system is pretty much just formulas and calculations of how they work all of this out based on different things. It won't change the standardized testing, will it, at all? Or will the standardized test change?
Well, the way that we assess students is and will always be through the student expectations. So if we focus on rigor and depth and complexity of how we teach and our students learn, we are prepared to face the academic accountability system when it is fair. And so as Dr. Brasher had communicated, there is a concern statewide that the system currently, the way that it has been presented, is not being presented in a fair manner.
And Jeff, I'll get back to you on this. Isn't there some, I guess, evidence because this has been practiced in other states, and then there's some evidence that it really is unfair?
Absolutely, it has been presented in 16 other states in this country, and if you look at, well, I can't say all for sure, but the ones that I've looked at most carefully is that 100% of your schools who get D's and F's are all have a economically disadvantaged population of 50% or greater. So, and I really think if you looked at that through all 16 states, where this originated, of course, was in Florida, and Jeb Bush, claims that it turned their schools around, but actually after the first year, they changed the formulas so that more schools could actually perform better. So it wasn't actually the student performance, but it was the changing of the formulas within the system that led to the more improvements. So really, there's no way to me that you could say that simply by giving someone a letter grade is going to improve. If that was the case, then every kid would have a straight A within school. Yeah. So, I can't wrap my mind around that thinking. However, it really is, a gateway drug for our governor and our lieutenant governor to move forward with the voucher systems in the state of Texas, which is actually moving money out of public education and giving people money to go and use how they want to educate their children.
Yeah, and that's down there at the end of that tunnel. That's I think the goal at the end. And I don't know, a lot of mixed feelings about it in Austin for sure. It'll be interesting to watch that debate down there and see how all of that comes out. Well, Veronica, again, let me take time to welcome you to the community. I'm sure our paths will cross more. We here try to do all we can for the school district, and we'll get any word out you need to get out. Just I guess get it to Leslie, and she'll get it to us, and we'll make sure that anything you need covered for GISD will get done, okay?
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here today.
You bet. It's great to meet you, and welcome to the community. Jeff, thank you very much for
Thanks
being
for
here.
having us.
All right. You bet. We'll do it again next month. That's our GISD program here for February on Hometown Radio, 1580 KGAF.